All right, I'm going to go ahead and start recording. There we go. All right, so hello everyone. Welcome to Organizing Your Digital Photos. My name is Zachary. I'm the lead library specialist with the Martin County Library System. With me is my co-host Stephanie, who's also a lead library specialist. So thank you guys for joining us today. Oh, looks like interesting. That's weird. Okay, now we're on the first slide. Just so you guys know, this document may be reproduced upon request in an alternative format by contacting the county ADA coordinator, the county administration office, the Florida Relay, or by completing our accessibility feedback form at the link provided. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so objectives for today. We're going to identify the best method of storing your photo library, discover different ways of organizing your photos, and finding a solution that works for you. So to start off, how much storage do I need? This is the first question you should really ask. What device are most of my photos taken from? So is that like an iPhone or like a digital camera of some sort? Most pictures taken from a smartphone are around 2.5 megabytes per picture. So that's how much space they typically take up. Pictures taken from a dedicated camera can vary in size a bit more. When handling like JPEG files, a good rule of thumb is that the file size will be half the camera's megapixel count. So if the picture is 12 megapixels, it'll be about 6 megabytes per picture. And there's a little chart down there to kind of convert from one to the other. These are rough estimates, and that the size of your photo library can vary based on where you've taken the photos. So some could be bigger, some could be smaller. And down the line, as cameras improve with higher megapixel counts and things like HDR, high dynamic range, these file sizes can easily grow to double that size or even more. All right, so then the first option we have for storage is cloud storage. This is storage that is stored on a protected server that is accessed through the internet. So you can think of it as like kind of a storage unit that you can access from anywhere. Photos stored here won't take up space on any of your connected devices, so you don't have to worry about pictures taking up all your storage. You can access the photos from any device that has the associated app installed or from a website. So all these services have a website that you can go on, or in some cases, most cases, an app that you can go to look at all your pictures. And here's some of like the different services, the most popular. All of the services have a free tier if you sign up. So iCloud and OneDrive have 5 gigabytes, Dropbox has 2, and Google Photos has 15. And to the right of that is the highest tier of storage that you can, it's always a purchase, and that's the highest tier. So if we go back to that slide, 1 terabyte is around 1,000 gigabytes. So you can kind of do the math there to see how much storage that is. And a gigabyte would be around roughly 500 photos taken on a smartphone. And usually the services are built into their respective platforms. So iCloud would be Apple's service. So if you have a Mac and an iPhone, that's your primary smartphone or where you take pictures, that might be the good choice. Google Photos is like for Android phones. And if you have like a Gmail account and stuff like that. OneDrive is Microsoft. So if you're mainly on using like a Windows computer and using a dedicated camera to take pictures, that might be a good option. And then there's also Dropbox as well. All right, And we also have physical storage. So this is storage that does not require an internet connection to access. It'll work on both Mac and Windows computers. And here we have flash drives, SD cards, and hard drives. Typically, hard drives have the highest capacity for storage, but they're the least portable and sometimes the most expensive out of the three. SD cards are convenient when dealing with like dedicated cameras, because with dedicated cameras, that's kind of their primary method of storing photos. So you put the SD card in the camera, then you can just pop it out and plug it into the computer. And it's also a lot faster if you have like a large library of photos. It's a lot faster to transfer those photos to the devices as opposed to cloud storage, where it really depends on how fast your internet is. So physical storage is recommended for like large catalogs of photos. So what's the difference between hard disk drives and solid state drives? So that's kind of two categories of physical storage. And here's the comparison. So we have hard disk drives. They're a little bit slower when transferring data and searching for files. So if you're like going through a huge amount of photos and you want to search for one, it could be a little slower to look through all that. They can be more susceptible to data corruption and failure because there's actually moving parts within the hard drive, so they're prone to fail. But the upside is that they're much cheaper and they usually come in much larger capacities for less cost. On the right, we have solid state drives. Now these are a little newer compared to hard disk drives. They offer a lot faster speeds. They're typically more portable, like smaller, and they're more reliable because they don't have any moving parts. If you think of like an SD card or a flash drive, those are forms of solid state drives. They're just like miniature versions. But the downside is they're typically more expensive for smaller capacities. So right now, solid state drives, it costs like orders of magnitude more to get the same large capacity for solid state than it does for typical hard disk drives. Any questions so far?
None so far.
Okay. All right, so let's continue. So, organizing your photos on Windows. If you choose to use your computer to organize your pictures, it's recommended to create folders to put your pictures in. That's a great place to start. You can think of it kind of like a filing cabinet. Making sure you have your library in one place will make it easier to manage down the road. So like saving to the pictures directory. And the screenshot here is showing like the My PC program. So on the left column there, it has all the places you can save files to. And I have the pictures highlighted there. And that's a good place to, store your pictures. It's a dedicated place on your computer for all your pictures. So how do you make a folder? So you're going to open File Explorer on your desktop or My PC. You're going to navigate to the pictures directory again on that left column. And then there's a little option there, new folder, where the arrow's pointing. Okay. All right, so a little more on that. Windows 10, which I think most of you are on by now, they have a native Photos app that's simply named Photos that will automatically scan that pictures folder and display all the pictures stored there. So instead of having to go to that File Explorer program and like just scrolling through, names of files, there's a dedicated app for doing that. It'll sort your photos by date taken. If you have pictures that are not in the pictures directory and are on, like, say, a dedicated camera, you can select the import option in the top right corner, or have the little red arrow there. And a camera wizard will pop up where you can select which pictures to import. So it'll open up the select them, and then they'll get transferred to the Photos app. All right, so that's Windows. Now for Mac computers, it's a little more tricky. If you own a Mac computer, all pictures are automatically compiled in your computer's system library, which can be accessed using the Photos app. So Mac has a dedicated Photos app as well. And in their terms, an album is a collection of multiple pictures, kind of like if you think of a scrapbook. Now, do you create albums on a Mac? You would open Photos on your dock. If you guys are familiar with iPhones, it looks like the same kind of icon, the Photos icon. And then once you're in, you're going to select File in the top menu bar. And you're going to select New Album from the drop down, and then you get the option to name the folder. Albums will show up in your sidebar along with a separate album containing any photos you have favorited. So on all your photos, there's a little heart icon that you can click, and that'll put it into a dedicated favorites folder. And as you can see, I have a picture here of the Photos app on the Mac. And on the left side, it says My Albums near the bottom, and it just has all the different album names that we've created. And most of this stuff also applies to iPhones. Any organization that they do on Mac or iPhone, they'll talk to each other and they'll be reflected on either one because of iCloud. So a little more on this. Again, photos are automatically sorted by date taken. If the photo was taken with an iPhone using the camera app, photos will also be sorted by the location that they were taken at using GPS. So that's also a good way to organize your photos. And if you have photos taken on a dedicated camera, how do you import them? So again, you'll open Photos on your dock. You'll select File in the menu bar, and then there's an import option, the drop-down menu. And it'll also open a little camera wizard or a file wizard where you can choose the picture or multiple pictures that you wish to import. And then it'll give you a little pop-up saying, it'll show you what pictures you're importing. Click Review for import to confirm. And those pictures will show up on your Photos app. There's little arrows pointing to where to click. So those are instructions for the two main, if you use a computer and you want to organize stuff on a computer. Here's a little more about like actually different ways of organizing pictures. And this applies to both, some stuff applies to both iPhone, Mac and PC. So tagging photos, what are tags? Tags are single words that are assigned to an image file that describe the content depicted in the picture in order to make it easier to search for. So for example, you can assign terms such as dog to pictures of dogs. You can include the name of a subject, or you can assign Stuart to pictures taken in Stuart. And these are kind of like hidden words that are embedded within the picture that let it be sorted. All photos are automatically tagged with the date and time at which they were taken. So wherever you take a picture, a dedicated camera on a smartphone, they're automatically tagged with when they were taken. So, and also tags can be manually attached to each picture or automatically tagged through various apps that can detect things within the picture, such as objects and animals. So like on a smartphone, Android, iPhone, sometimes the phone will try to sort the pictures itself and make little albums based on what it sees in the picture. Sometimes it's pretty smart when it does that. And that's one advantage of the cloud storage options, is that some do this automatic tagging. In fact, the majority of the most popular providers offer that. iCloud will only tag pictures though based on location and subject, take with an iPhone. So something like Google Photos, they will automatically tag photos based on this, what they see in the picture. So the phone will look at, or not only is the phone, like the service, Google Photos itself will look at your library and see a dog, and they'll automatically tag it as a picture with a dog and sort it accordingly. Windows 10 also does this with the Photos app, so it's pretty convenient that way as well. If you have pictures that are from a dedicated camera and you want to import them. But at the end of the day, there's no one right way to organize your photos. It's ultimately up to you to find a solution that works for you. The questions you should be asking yourself are, where are all my photos located? Where do I have them right now? And where do I want them to be? And what devices do I want to access my library on? And also, how much work am I willing to put into organizing my photos? I know for those of us that have like a huge library of photos, it can be really overwhelming. And at the end of the day, we just kind of give up. But if you put some time into it, you can organize all your pictures, and in the long run, it becomes a lot quicker to search for them and know where everything is. Any more questions before we wrap things up?
No questions.
No questions? All right. So in summary, we learned how to determine how much storage is needed for a photo library. We learned about different storage methods that serve different needs and have their pros and cons. We learned methods of sorting pictures for better organizing on Windows and Mac computers. And lastly, we learned the concept of tagging photos. Now, a lot of this is like a bird's eye view of organization and stuff like that. We didn't drill down too much. So if there's any like more specific questions, you can always schedule a tech time, or I'll be sending out a follow-up email. I can answer any questions.
Zach, it does look like we have a question.
Okay.
If sorting by folders, what is the best method to name the folders/subfolders?
It really depends up to you. You might want to do, a good place to start is to, organize your photos based on year they were taken or specific dates. Because like I said, every photo is sorted by the date. They have the information of when they were taken in the file. So you can sort all your pictures based on the year they were taken. And then once you have all that sorted, you can go in to each year and sort them by, family members or pets and where the pictures were taken. But it'd be kind of like a scrapbook going year by year all the way back. And like I said, a lot of if you have an iPhone or a modern smartphone, they do this already. They'll sort by year as kind of like the biggest measurement of when pictures were taken. So you can do the same approach if you have like pictures from a dedicated camera on your computer. You can just start by sorting them by year of when they were taken. All right. All right, any more questions?
As of now, no.
Okay. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to type in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. So we also have LinkedIn Learning. It's a free service of the library. It's free online classes. So there's classes on the topics we just talked about today. If you want to learn a little bit more, all you need is your library card number to sign up. You can learn stuff about photo storage. I mean, anything that you could think of. Do we have another question?
Yes, we do have another question. If you scan pictures in, is there a way to change the date taken?
If you're talking about scanning in like physical photos that you've taken, if you're scanning them to a file, there is a way to change the date. It'll treat the picture as it was taken today, or the day that you scanned it. So if you have like physical pictures that you're scanning in, those won't contain the date at which they were taken, unless it's like one of those cameras that prints a little date on the bottom right corner in orange. But yeah, you'll have to go in manually and edit the date that it was taken at. And I can send a link in the follow-up email on how to do that. In fact, let me write that down.
There's another question, if you're ready.
Sure.
Are there consultants that work on photos with people one-on-one?
That's a good question. It depends on the kind of work that you would need done. But like I said, actually, let me go. On that slide. But the library does offer tech times. So that's like one-on-one 30-minute sessions where we can work with you on a question that you have, or and that would be a good place to have someone consult with you on organizing photos. So, but as far as anything further than that, like if there's a service out there, I'll have to look into that. That's actually a really good question. I'm not sure if there are people out there that specialize in that. That's why there's a lot of this like automatic tagging stuff that kind of tries to streamline and has the computer do it for you instead of having someone sit down and look through all your stuff to organize it.
We have another question. Any recommended books on photos, like Photos for Dummies? And then we have another question after that.
Okay, yeah, I think there are some for dummies books on photo storage. I'll have to go into our catalog. I'll send some links to some books that pertain to that in a follow-up email. So all this stuff will be in the email. Yeah.
Sorry. And the other question is, how do you move photos into file?
Move photos into file. Are you talking about folders? If you're talking about folders, you simply drag. You just click on the photo file, and then you'll drag it into the folder that you want it to go in. It looks like someone just entered the waiting room. It's like are they connected yet?
Looks like we're still waiting.
So
But I did. Still connecting.
Okay. All right. All right, there are no more questions for now. Start getting wrapped up here. So thank you everyone for attending this class. I know it was a little short, but like I said, this is kind of more of a bird's eye view, giving you options. Just kind of making you aware of different options that are out there for organizing photos. If you guys want to learn more, we have more classes with the library system. You have a link here. You can go to sign up and look at our calendar of events. And let us know what you liked about this class and what other topics you want us to teach and what you want to learn. You can access that survey. It's in a survey by searching library survey on the library website, martin.fl.us, or you can click on the link there and fill out the survey and you can submit it. And what is an Idea Lab? You can find out more about the MCLS Idea Lab services at that link. And I'll be sending out all the slides for this presentation out so you can actually click the links that I'm showing you. So all those slides will be in the follow-up email. Okay. Okay. So I don't know if, Pamela, I don't know if you joined, but yeah, we went ahead and wrapped up. Like I said, all the recording of this presentation, the slides will all be provided in the follow-up email. So look out for that. All right. So I think that does it. Go ahead and stop the recording. All right, everyone, have a nice day. Thank you for coming.